They say working from home gives you freedom, but no one talks about the battle that begins the moment you wake up. The battle between comfort and purpose, the war between your bed and your dreams. When your home becomes your office, something strange happens. The line between rest and responsibility starts to fade. You sit down to work, but your couch is right there whispering, "Take a break." The fridge is only a few steps away, and your phone. It's suddenly your best friend and your biggest distraction. You thought working from home would make life easier, but what you didn't expect was how hard it would be to stay driven when no one's watching. There's no boss walking by your desk, no colleague to share energy with, no clock reminding you that time is slipping away. And that's exactly why this message matters. Because if you can learn to master yourself in your own space, you'll be unstoppable anywhere. Today, I want to share 3 truths that will help you stay motivated, focused, and mentally strong when your home becomes your battlefield for success. So stay with me till the end, because by the time we're done, you won't just work from home. You'll win from home. Discipline is the quiet strength that separates those who wish from those who win. It's not exciting, not glamorous, and often not comfortable, but it's the foundation upon which every meaningful achievement stands. When you work from home, discipline becomes more than a good habit. It becomes your survival tool, because at home, no one is watching. There are no eyes of accountability, no manager walking past your desk, no structure that forces you to act. There's only you, your thoughts, and the quiet pull of comfort calling you back to bed. The truth is, comfort is seductive. It whispers that you deserve rest before you've earned it. It tells you there's always tomorrow. That one more episode, one more scroll through your phone won't hurt. And that's how dreams die, not with a loud crash, but with soft excuses. Discipline is the bridge between those soft excuses and the hard reality of your goals. It's the act of saying, "I will," even when no one else is asking you to. When you work from home, every day is a test of willpower. The distractions are endless and the boundaries are invisible. Your home was designed for rest, not for performance. So, when you bring your work into that space, you must also bring a new mindset. You have to create invisible walls around your focus. You have to teach yourself that when you sit at your desk, your brain shifts from personal mode to professional mode. That shift doesn't happen automatically. It happens through repetition, through ritual, through small acts of discipline practiced daily until they become part of who you are. You don't need motivation every morning. Motivation fades the moment life gets inconvenient. What you need is structure, something that holds you steady when inspiration disappears. That's what discipline provides. It's a commitment you make to yourself, a promise that no matter how you feel, you'll show up and do the work. Discipline doesn't care if you're tired or uninspired. It simply asks, did you do what you said you would do? The best way to build discipline while working from home is to start with the smallest controllable thing, your morning. The first hour of your day sets the rhythm for everything that follows. If your first decision is to delay, the rest of the day will echo that same pattern. But if your first decision is deliberate, if you get up, make your bed, dress for work, and move with intention, you've already won half the battle. You've told your mind that this is a day of purpose, not passivity. Many people think discipline is about harsh restriction. It's not. True discipline is freedom. It frees you from the chaos of indecision, from the anxiety of wasted time, from the guilt of knowing you could have done more. It's not about punishing yourself. It's about aligning yourself. Every small disciplined act builds confidence, and confidence feeds clarity. When you have clarity, your mind stops resisting the work because it understands why the work matters. Think of your environment as an extension of your habits. If your workspace is cluttered, your mind will be too. If your room feels like a bedroom, your brain won't switch into work mode. That's why you must shape your surroundings to reflect your commitment. Even a small desk in the corner can become your command center if it's treated with respect. When you sit there, act like the world is watching, even if it isn't. Discipline is about how you behave when no one's keeping score. There will be days when your mind tells you it's pointless. When you start to question if your efforts matter because there's no applause, no recognition, no external validation. That's when discipline speaks louder than doubt. It reminds you that progress isn't always visible, but it's always happening. Every focused hour compounds into skill. Every repeated task strengthens your resilience. Every disciplined day plants a seed that will bloom later when others wonder how you did it. To sustain discipline, you must also respect time. Treat your time as the most valuable currency you own. Don't trade it for comfort that doesn't last. Schedule your work like appointments you can't cancel. When you say you'll start at 9, start at 9. When you say you'll stop at 5, stop at 5. Time boundaries create mental clarity. They allow your brain to fully engage during work hours and fully rest when you're done. Without those lines, everything blurs and burnout begins. Discipline also means being honest with yourself. You can't build consistency on self-deception. If you say you're working, but you're distracted half the time, admit it and adjust. If your energy is low, don't rely on willpower alone. Improve your environment, your sleep, your nutrition, your mindset. Discipline is not about pretending to be perfect. It's about refusing to settle for less effort than you're capable of. Some days you won't feel like working, and that's normal. Everyone faces resistance. The difference is how you respond to it. A disciplined mind doesn't argue with resistance. It moves through it. It says, I'll just start. Because once you start, momentum takes over. Action generates motivation. Waiting for motivation before taking action is like waiting for the ocean to calm before you learn to swim. Working from home tempts you to mix comfort with productivity, but that blend rarely works. You can't produce your best work in a space that constantly reminds you of rest. That's why even small gestures matter. Get out of bed, change into different clothes, light a candle at your desk, create sensory cues that tell your body, this is work time. These signals, repeated daily, condition your brain to shift gears automatically. There's also the discipline of saying no. No to distractions, no to unnecessary scrolling, no to conversations that drain energy. Every yes must serve your larger purpose. When you learn to say no to what doesn't matter, you open room for what does. That's how discipline multiplies your power. It focuses it. Discipline grows in private, but shines in public. People will eventually see the results, but they won't see the hundreds of mornings you showed up tired, the nights you stayed consistent, the temptations you overcame. That's the invisible price of freedom. You can't control the outcome, but you can control the effort. And that control is what makes discipline so powerful. It keeps your destiny in your hands, not in your moods. It's easy to underestimate how much environment affects discipline. Working from home, you might think it's all about willpower, but your surroundings either strengthen or weaken your focus. If you constantly see reminders of rest, your bed, your TV, your kitchen, you'll have to fight harder to stay on track. So change the layout if you can. Turn your workspace into a place of energy. Keep your goals visible. Put a quote, a photo, or even a single word that reminds you why you started. Visual cues anchor discipline in reality. Accountability also fuels discipline. Find a partner, a friend, or even a digital tracker that keeps you honest. Share your goals, track your progress, and celebrate small wins. It's not about seeking approval. It's about maintaining awareness. Awareness is the parent of discipline. You can't improve what you don't track. And remember, discipline is built in layers. You don't suddenly wake up one day perfectly focused. You build it one decision at a time. One early morning, one completed task, one resisted distraction. Each time you follow through, you prove to yourself that you can be trusted. And once you trust yourself, you no longer rely on external pressure to perform. You become self-directed, self-managed, and self-made. That's the ultimate reward of discipline. Not success alone, but the transformation that happens within you. The moment you realize you can depend on yourself, you stop waiting for the right environment, the right time, or the right motivation. You become the kind of person who can turn any space, even your living room, into a place of power and progress. When you work from home, the noise of the world fades, but the noise inside your head gets louder. Without the structure of an office or the presence of coworkers, there's no external pressure pushing you forward. No one is reminding you of deadlines or watching you clock in. The only thing that remains is you and the question that echoes in the quiet. Why am I doing this? That question is the heartbeat of motivation. Without a clear reason, even the most talented person loses direction. That's why replacing pressure with purpose is not just a motivational idea. It's a necessity for survival in the work-from-home world. Pressure once kept you alert. It made you show up even when you didn't feel like it. But when that external force disappears, what takes its place must come from within. That inner fuel is purpose. It's the deep understanding that your effort connects to something larger than a paycheck or a deadline. Purpose gives meaning to repetition, dignity to routine, and energy to the moments when fatigue takes over. Without it, work becomes mechanical, and mechanical work leads to burnout faster than overwork ever could. Every morning when you sit down to work, you're faced with a choice, to drift or to drive. Drifting happens when you let your day pull you wherever it wants. Driving happens when you know exactly where you're going and why. The key difference is purpose. People who drift wait for motivation. People who drive create it. Purpose doesn't depend on mood or whether someone recognizes your effort. It's internal, quiet, and steady. It tells you that your work matters even when no one is clapping. When you find your purpose, everything changes. The same routine that once felt dull becomes meaningful. The same tasks that felt endless become stepping stones toward something valuable. Purpose turns work into contribution. It transforms I have to into I get to. And that mental shift is what keeps you moving on days when your willpower runs low. You no longer need pressure to stay productive because your purpose pulls you forward naturally. To discover that sense of purpose, you must start with clarity. Ask yourself, who benefits from the work I do? Whose life becomes better because I show up? Maybe it's your family, your clients, your team, or even your future self. Purpose is not about size, it's about connection. If you can connect your effort to a person, a vision, or a mission that matters to you, your motivation multiplies. You begin to see work as an act of service, not a burden. Service always brings energy because it moves your attention from the weight of your own effort to the value of your impact. The modern work from home life often hides you from the world. You can go weeks without real human interaction. You can finish entire projects without seeing a face. That isolation drains meaning unless you remind yourself constantly that what you do still touches lives. Even a small job, done with intention, contributes to something bigger. The invisible thread of purpose is what keeps remote workers from collapsing under the emptiness of monotony. Replace pressure with purpose by building rituals that remind you of your why. Before starting your day, take 2 minutes to write down your reason. Not the task, not the to-do list, the reason. I'm working today because I want to provide stability for my family. I'm doing this because I believe in creating something that matters. That tiny reminder anchors your energy. It makes even small actions feel like progress toward something sacred. When you lose sight of purpose, the smallest obstacle feels heavy. When you stay connected to purpose, the heaviest challenge feels manageable. Most people rely on deadlines and supervision to stay productive. But deadlines are external and supervision is temporary. Purpose is internal, and it never leaves you. It wakes up with you, sits beside you, and whispers when the temptation to quit grows stronger. It's the quiet voice that says, "This matters. Keep going." Without that voice, motivation turns into a short-lived emotion. With it, motivation becomes a steady flame that doesn't flicker in the wind. The interesting thing about purpose is that it changes the quality of your focus. When you're driven by pressure, you rush. You aim to finish, not to grow. You become reactive, not intentional. But when you're driven by purpose, you slow down just enough to do things right. You start valuing mastery over completion excellence over speed. You don't chase results for approval. You pursue results for fulfillment. That's a different kind of success, one that lasts. Purpose also teaches you to handle solitude differently. Working from home often means spending long hours alone. For some, that solitude becomes loneliness. For others, it becomes peace. The difference lies in perspective. If you see your solitude as isolation, it drains you. But if you see it as sacred time to build your craft, to deepen your focus, to invest in your dreams, it energizes you. Purpose turns solitude into sanctuary. When pressure fades, the mind starts craving validation. You might begin to doubt your worth because no one is giving feedback. That's when you must shift from seeking recognition to creating meaning. Tell yourself that what you do is a contribution, not a competition. Your worth isn't measured by applause, but by alignment. How well your actions reflect your values. The more aligned you are with your purpose, the less you'll need others to tell you you're doing well. Working from home offers freedom, but freedom without purpose becomes chaos. You can start late, pause anytime, drift endlessly between tasks. Purpose brings order to that freedom. It gives direction to your day. When you know what you're aiming for, you stop wasting time on things that don't serve it. You begin to prioritize with conviction, not confusion. You start asking, does this move me closer to my goal? If the answer is no, you let it go. That's how purpose sharpens your focus. It becomes a filter for your decisions. There's also a deeper layer to purpose: emotional resilience. When setbacks happen, and they always do, purpose acts like armor. It protects your spirit from discouragement. Pressure breaks you because it's external. Purpose sustains you because it's internal. When pressure is gone, you might feel lost. But when purpose lives inside you, you can rebuild direction anytime. It gives you something to return to when everything else feels uncertain. Sometimes purpose doesn't come in big revelations. It hides in small moments. The smile of someone you've helped, the quiet satisfaction of finishing a project with integrity, the pride of keeping your word to yourself. These are fragments of purpose that, when noticed, form the bigger picture. The more you recognize them, the stronger your motivation becomes. Gratitude fuels purpose, and purpose fuels persistence. To live with purpose is to understand that your work is not just about earning. It's about becoming. Each task shapes your character. Each challenge builds your resilience. Each disciplined action strengthens your identity. Purpose turns work into personal growth. You're not just completing projects, you're shaping the person who can handle greater responsibilities. That realization gives weight to every small effort. You don't have to find your ultimate purpose in one day. It evolves. Start with something simple but real. Maybe your purpose right now is to become more dependable, to build consistency, to create stability. That's enough. The deeper layers will reveal themselves as you move forward. Purpose doesn't need to be grand. It just needs to be genuine. The clearer it becomes, the more unstoppable you'll feel. When you remove external pressure, life gives you the gift of authenticity. You no longer work because you have to. You work because you choose to. That's the highest form of freedom. It's not about escaping effort, but embracing it for reasons that make your heart come alive. That's when work stops feeling like work and starts feeling like expression. That's when you realize that what once required pressure now thrives on purpose. When your home becomes your workplace, energy becomes your most valuable asset. Not time, not talent, but energy. Because when your energy fades, everything else collapses. Your focus weakens, your patience shortens, your creativity disappears. Working from home quietly drains your energy in ways most people never notice. The same space that holds your rest, your meals, your entertainment, and your work also traps your mind in constant motion. You wake up, and your phone demands attention. Your laptop hums in the corner, and the boundaries between your personal life and your professional goals blur into one exhausting fog. Protecting your energy is not about avoiding work. It's about managing what truly deserves your strength. Energy is more than physical stamina. It's emotional, mental, and spiritual fuel. You can have 8 hours of sleep and still feel drained if your thoughts are scattered, your habits chaotic, and your environment unbalanced. When you work from home, the lines between action and rest fade, and if you're not careful, you'll find yourself always half working, half resting, never fully present in either. That's the fastest path to burnout. To protect your energy, you must create deliberate contrast. When you work, be all in. When you rest, be all out. Energy thrives on rhythm, not confusion. Most people don't lose energy because they work too hard. They lose it because they never stop working mentally. They close their laptops but keep their minds racing. They finish one task but start worrying about the next. It's not the effort that exhausts you. It's the lack of mental closure. That's why one of the greatest skills of working from home is learning how to switch off. Not because you don't care, but because you care enough to recharge. Every system in nature has balance. The tides rise and fall. The heart beats and rests. The seasons change. Energy must flow in cycles, and so must you. Your environment plays a huge role in protecting your energy. If your workspace looks like your living space, your brain stays in a state of confusion. It never receives the signal to shift gears. Design your surroundings so that they speak to your intentions. Keep your workspace clear of clutter. Your desk for work only, your bed for rest only. These small distinctions send powerful cues to your subconscious mind. When your environment supports your focus, your energy multiplies naturally. Distractions are the silent thieves of energy. Every notification, every scroll, every unnecessary click steals a small piece of your attention, and attention is energy in disguise. You can't focus deeply if your attention is constantly fractured. Set boundaries not only with people but also with technology. Turn off notifications, set specific times for emails and messages, and learn to be unavailable for the unimportant. The world will always ask for your attention, but you decide who gets it. Protecting your energy means protecting your attention from being wasted on things that don't move your life forward. There's another dimension to energy that few people talk about: emotional boundaries. Working from home often exposes you to subtle emotional drains. Maybe it's family members interrupting your focus, or friends who assume you're always free because you're home. If you don't define your emotional limits, others will define them for you. It's not rude to say no, it's responsible. You can't pour into others when your own cup is empty. Protecting your energy sometimes means disappointing people temporarily so you can serve them better later. Movement is one of the most underrated ways to protect and renew energy. Sitting for hours weakens not only the body but also the spirit. The mind grows sluggish when the body is stagnant. Take breaks to stretch, walk, breathe deeply, or step outside. Fresh air and natural light are not luxuries. They're medicine for your focus. Even 5 minutes of movement can reset your brain chemistry, clear your thoughts, and refresh your motivation. The best thinkers and creators throughout history understood this. They walked, they breathed, they paused. You're not designed to sit in one spot endlessly. You're designed to move through life dynamically. Energy also depends on what you feed your mind. Every piece of content you consume either energizes or drains you. The news, social media, random noise, all of it carries emotional weight. Choose carefully what enters your mental space. If you start your morning with negativity, your energy begins the day in debt. But if you fill your mind with purpose, gratitude, and calm, you begin the day in abundance. Your thoughts create the emotional climate in which your energy either flourishes or withers. Sleep is not just rest, it's restoration. Many people working from home sacrifice sleep because their schedule is flexible. But flexibility without discipline is chaos. Set a fixed bedtime and wake up time. Teach your body to expect recovery. Fatigue is cumulative, and once it catches up, no amount of coffee can save you. True productivity comes from a rested mind, not a restless one. Protecting your sleep is protecting your energy's foundation. Another secret to protecting energy is learning to focus on one thing at a time. Multitasking is glorified in modern culture, but it's poison for mental clarity. Each time you switch between tasks, your brain burns additional energy reorienting itself. That's why multitasking leaves you tired but unaccomplished. Choose one thing, finish it with focus, and then move to the next. Depth of focus creates energy. Scattered focus drains it. Simplicity is strength. The way you start your day also determines the flow of your energy. Don't begin by diving into messages or social feeds. Start with silence, gratitude, or reflection. Give your mind a chance to center itself before facing the noise of the world. That moment of stillness in the morning acts like charging your inner battery. It prepares you to face the day with calm rather than chaos. Energy protected early stays steady throughout the day. You must also be aware of invisible energy leaks, small habits that seem harmless but slowly drain your vitality. Overthinking, worrying about things you can't control, constantly comparing yourself to others. These habits cost more energy than physical labor. The mind that's always spinning never rests, and a tired mind can't create. Replace these leaks with intentional thoughts. When you catch yourself overthinking, redirect to gratitude. When you start comparing, focus on progress. Awareness is the first step to sealing those leaks. Nutrition and hydration are also part of the energy equation. What you eat and drink shapes your mental clarity. Heavy food dulls focus. Too much sugar creates highs and crashes. Your body is the engine of your productivity. Fuel it wisely. A clear body supports a clear mind. And when both align, your energy flows effortlessly. Protecting your energy doesn't mean isolating yourself. It means surrounding yourself with people who recharge you instead of drain you. Even virtually, energy is contagious. Notice how you feel after interactions. If certain conversations leave you drained, limit them. If others inspire you, nurture them. Protecting your energy is also about curating your circle, not out of arrogance, but out of awareness that your energy determines your effectiveness. One of the hardest but most important practices is giving yourself permission to rest without guilt. In a world obsessed with productivity, rest feels like laziness. But rest is part of the process. It's not withdrawal, it's preparation. When you rest intentionally, you restore creativity and passion. When you avoid rest, you end up working twice as hard with half the results. Protecting your energy requires courage, the courage to pause, to breathe, to step back before you break. Finally, understand that your energy is the message you carry into your work. People don't just respond to what you do, they respond to how you do it. If your energy is calm, focused, and strong, it transfers through everything you create. Whether you write, design, speak, or manage, your energy communicates louder than your words. Protecting your energy isn't selfish, it's service. Because when your energy is high, your work becomes a gift. When it's low, even your best effort feels forced. The way you manage your energy determines not only the quality of your work, but the quality of your life.